Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to dive deep into a complex and serious topic, the UN's recent condemnation of the IDF's actions in Gaza. This isn't just another news story, it's an unfolding humanitarian crisis with real consequences for civilians. On July 13th, the Israeli Defense Forces carried out airstrikes in Khan Yunis, a populated area in Gaza. These strikes weren't just targeting military sites, they hit civilian zones including tents meant for displaced people and even a water plant. The result? 71 people dead and more than 280 injured. Let that sink in for a moment. And it's not an isolated incident. In Ash-Shadi refugee camp, a makeshift mosque was struck, resulting in 17 more deaths. The UN Human Rights Office is calling these actions a blatant violation of international humanitarian law. The rules are clear. Military forces must distinguish between combatants and civilians and use proportionate force. But here, it seems, that's not happening. What's even more troubling is the lack of accountability. As of now, the IDF hasn't provided any explanation or response to these incidents. This raises serious questions about their commitment to protecting civilians in conflict zones. But it's not just Gaza. The situation in the West Bank is also deteriorating. The UN Rights Office has condemned the Israeli military's escalating use of force there too. Airstrikes in the Nur Shams refugee camp recently killed 5 people, including 2 children. Since October 7th, 628 Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank, many by Israeli security forces and settlers. The UN is alarmed by the increasing violence and the backing settlers often receive from the government. In East Jerusalem, discriminatory zoning laws and home demolitions continue to displace Palestinians, further exacerbating the crisis. Meanwhile, in Gaza, the humanitarian situation is dire. The UN's Special Representative for the Middle East condemned an airstrike on a densely populated humanitarian zone that killed 19 people. The call for an immediate ceasefire and adherence to international law is louder than ever. In a shocking incident, shots were fired during the IDF's detention of a UN convoy in Gaza. According to Stéphane Dujarric, the UN Secretary-General's spokesperson, the situation escalated when the IDF stopped the convoy and demanded to question 2 of its passengers. The Israeli soldiers pointed their weapons at the UN personnel, and yes, shots were fired. IDF tanks and bulldozers even rammed the UN vehicles, trapping the staff inside. Despite this harrowing ordeal, the convoy was eventually released, and the UN personnel returned safely to base. The IDF claimed they acted on intelligence suggesting that Palestinian suspects were in the convoy, but the UN insists the convoy was for polio vaccinations. Despite the incident, vaccinations have begun in northern Gaza, continuing the UN-led campaign for children. This latest incident adds to a series of violations against UN staff, including shootings and arrests. Philippe Lazzarini, chief of the UNRWA, criticized the IDF's conduct, calling it a violation of international norms. So what can we take away from all this? The situation on the ground is incredibly complex and fraught with danger. The UN is calling for accountability and an immediate end to the violence to protect civilians. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. It's crucial to stay informed and understand the real human impact behind these headlines. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage. Stay safe and see you next time.